It's been seen and heard around the world, whether in some of the most renowned Chinese martial arts films in cinematic history or at opening ceremonies and festivals. The harmony of powerful drum beats with the distinct twang of cymbals is sure to instill awe in all those around. The graceful yet ferocious movements and vigor of the performers captivate those who set sights on this time-honored tradition. This is lion dance. Practiced around the world, it found itself on the shores of our little red dot and is practiced by dedicated artists who bear the torch of this beloved tradition. This is the story of the Lions of the Lion City. Lion dance is an ancient pugilistic art form with origins in traditional Chinese practices and rituals, beginning with several iterations of an oft-retold story. One such origin story is as follows.
有人说，从前某村常有狮子伤人，于是武师传授给村民们武术拳击来防身，而敲锣打鼓来吓走狮子。最终，村里的人成功制服猛兽，成功把狮子吓跑。从此，村民们便模仿与狮子格斗的演练，逐渐发展成舞狮活动。敲锣打鼓，舞狮就有了吉祥驱邪的象征，呈现于重要节日。
It has become a mainstay of Chinese culture, a sacrosanct artifact of Chinese heritage. Lion dance in Singapore had very humble beginnings. Men from Guangdong, seeking a better life in the lucrative British colonial economy, had migrated en masse to settle in Singapore. For many of them, the practice of martial arts was a slice of home, a respite from the work they had to do. Lion dance occupied a large part of the martial arts scene in southern China at the time. Practitioners of lion dance took great pride in their art forms. Eventually, these labourers and migrants from Guangdong had established specific locations and troops in Singapore for the performance of their distinct styles. This was the genesis of lion dance in Singapore, a cultural import that came about as a product of collective nostalgia and the need to be in touch with one's roots, even when far from home. It was extremely common to see loosely organised lion dance troops practicing along the street and in their shophouse headquarters almost every day. More specifically, however, was the advent of troops that were dedicated to the Foshan and Heshan varieties of lion dance, each form corresponding to its prefecture of origin. In the eyes of any layman, these two styles would be indistinguishable. However, there was a great deal of nuanced distinction between these two varieties. Foshan lion dance had a focus on ferocity. Heshan lion dance placed a great deal of importance on finesse. While Foshan lions had sharp horns, angled mouths and realistic teeth, Heshan lions were more vibrant in colour, with rounded horns and flat, beak-like mouths. Foshan lion dancers used more aggressive, explosive actions inspired by the robust martial arts heritage of Foshan Prefecture, whereas Heshan lion dancers had more fluid, graceful and cat-like steps in their performances. The Foshan and Heshan styles of lion dance are generally considered to be the primer for the art form in Singapore. Of note is the fact that both styles are under the broad aegis of the Southern lion dance styles. Going back to the history of lion dance, the art form is broadly generalized under two categories, Northern and Southern. Northern lion dancers typically sport lions with golden or red manes, performing more acrobatic and high-octane maneuvers than their Southern counterparts. As for the Southern lion dance, in addition to the Heshan and Foshan styles, there are two additional forms of the art, the foray and CHOW varieties. Foray lions are the result of a direct hybrid of the Foshan and Heshan styles. A distinctly Singaporean variety started in the 1960s. The foray lion dance incorporates features from both styles, with its fair share of aggressive and finessed movements. The CHOW lion dance, the newest and, to date, rarest of the southern styles, is centered on movements heavily based on Kung Fu, with a special emphasis placed on stunts and jaw-dropping feats of strength and power. Outside of these two categorizations, a small slice is occupied by lion dance inspired by other prominent groups in Chinese culture. For instance, the Hokkien lion, or Qing Shi, is known for its distinct flat, green head, with a ferocious profile as the face of the lion. In post-colonial times, Lion dance gradually began to represent Chinese Singaporeans as a whole. It was performed at numerous kampong and community level events to welcome local guests of honour. As Singaporean society began to better embrace notions of racial harmony and cohesiveness, lion dance eventually became representative of the Singaporean nation as a whole. Uniquely Singaporean styles, such as foray, helped to catalyze the galvanization of the various lion dance practitioners, such that lion dance, as practiced in Singapore, was able to possess a broader appeal for the masses. Eventually, seeing lion dances being performed to welcome foreign dignitaries and world leaders was commonplace. Despite the national significance of lion dance as a cultural symbol, lion dance still had its roots in clan heritage. Much of its practice, well into the 20th century, was still anchored in ideals and honour codes set down by the various clans and troops that took part in the art form. Different clan associations bore the torch of numerous different lion dance styles, and different troops dominated different regions where lion dance practice was commonplace. The territorial nature of lion dance had certainly not been lost to time. Mr. Park, a long-time veteran of the lion dance scene, was able to witness these intersectionalities in lion dance play out within the practitioners' community towards the later leg of the 20th century.
在本地的时候，以前大波一带的那些店面或者些小贩街边的小贩其他的市队都不能够进入的，就是有当地他们那一区的那种舞狮社团才能够进入的。如果你别队的狮子要进入这个地方的时候，他们摆设的青都是刁难的青来的，不简单的。以前学功夫就是要靠这些。
Across the board, however, there were core principles that were considered paramount to the successful practice and mastery of lion dance. Such ideals were instrumental in educating and training a new cadre of lion dance practitioners, even till this day. Fortunately, in the past, discipline was an attribute that was heavily emphasized upon. Students bore the onus of training diligently, equipping themselves with the relevant experience and skills to perform accordingly. For many coaches who operated on a principled level, discipline in disciples was an expectation rather than a bonus. Despite these high standards of virtue, lion dance was still avidly sought out as a pastime for the youth of the day.
以前的科技没有这样发达啦，所以回到家的时候没有东西做，就会到会馆学舞龙舞狮了。现在的电子游戏啦，科技这样发达了，我跟你讲啦，待在家里好过在会馆了，因为会馆很辛苦啊，又要练习，满身大汗，又给教练抽骂，又给教练罚的那种情况。以前我们学的话，罚是应该的，因为我们不懂，我们罚是应该的。现在你现在的学生你罚多2次，骂多2次的话，下次都不来了。因为就是科技啦，科技带给他们很方便以前学生以前我们不敢做确系练习的，现在的学生只要给你一个简讯，他就没有来了，都不用跟你怎么讲。
As with many other cultural institutions, lion dance has always been subject to change in manifold aspects. Changes in the manufacturing processes of the lions used in lion dance have allowed for some degree of automation, ensuring that lion heads that are used are standardized in quality. The actual performance of lion dance has also been enhanced through the use of multiple modalities. Using contemporary musical elements or lighting technologies has allowed for the development of a subculture of lion dance that is geared towards a younger audience, combining the traditional core of the art sport with innovative and electrifying tweaks. One prominent example of this is the LED lion, which is a lion costume adorned with up to thousands of LED lights that synchronously turn on and off as the lion moves around to the beat of the music.
What started off as an exclusive, well-guarded art form eventually opened up to become an inclusive activity for individuals from all walks of life. Protectionist attitudes that committed practitioners to lives of exclusivity were gradually cast aside as lion dance became more available for the youth and for those outside of clan circles. More specifically, contemporary lion dance sees a large influx of participants who take part as members of institutional troops, where schools organize their own troops to take part in the art form. Institutional troops often serve as a direct touchpoint with the younger cadre of performers. These institutional troops serve as a lifeline for cultural preservation, as Wei Xiong, an alumni lion dancer from ITE College Central, as well as an avid participant in his mainstream troupe, tells us.
Currently, right, if you want to say external troop preserve the art form will be much more harder. As external troop, we seldom people joining us, but for school-wise, now a lot of troop is teaching in school to promote the art culture as a lion dance. So it's a good way to preserve instead of you trying to expect the external troop to preserve the art culture.
For many student practitioners, institutional roots have opened their eyes to a world outside of school through cooperation with mainstream troops and participation in large-scale events. Despite the numerous differences that exist on the institutional and mainstream levels, each type of troupe brings its own merit to the table at events that require cooperation. Opinions on these differences tend to vary from individual to individual, but each hot take is just as insightful as the last.
I would say for institutional troops, we are more sheltered for sure. We probably have a managing body for us. We probably have funds already given to us, supporting us as an art form in the institution. Whereas if you are an external troupe, you are pretty much like your own business. So whatever you earn is rightfully yours, but at the same time it has to cover costs of lorry rental, space rental, buying new lion heads or instruments. It's all on you because you are your own independent business.
First and foremost, the style. In school, we have to follow strictly what they teach us. But when they are outside, you can choose either learn a different style or you can stick to the one that you learn in school. It's definitely up to you. So yeah, that is the difference.
In school, safety also is a top priority, so you can't push too much or do some dangerous stunt in school. So I think that's the difference. Because students are young, there's someone they participate in school. School take much more responsibility.
Institutional troops are somewhat of a breakthrough, as they bring their modalities of teaching lion dance to young and impressionable minds, while at the same time opening up a pathway for passionate students to be inducted into their mainstream troops to save them from potentially dwindling numbers.
当然，我教练是在我的会馆自己调教自己的学生嘛。把学生越来越少的时候，我们就要烦恼了。你学生越来越大了，又没有新的学员进入的话，你就要考虑到会馆的那个生存的问题了嘞。因为没有学生第二代、第三代的一直在学生接手的话，会馆就会慢慢没落、慢慢凋零了嘛。所以我们在当时我就一直在物色一些联络所啦，成立训练班啊，或者是在一些学校啦，刚好碰到一间中学啦，就是说要请教练去舞狮教室的时候，我就应该是在1997还是98年啊，我就开始教了，教到现在咯。
Evidently, institutional troops and mainstream troops can play complementary roles in being the torchbearers of this cultural symbol, even though the approaches adopted may vary significantly. At the end of the day, both serve with the same aim, and as for the means, to each his own. Nonetheless, lion dance as a CCA is an integral part of many students' lives, as it plays a pivotal role in the holistic development of the students, where they can enjoy themselves and learn longitudinal competencies and skills that run parallel to their cognitive education. For many students and veterans even, this is a golden opportunity to venture into a passion that they may have sequestered deep in their hearts.
When I was young, there is a coffee shop downstairs my house. So during CNY every year there will be a performance. So I really enjoy the performances. So I have interest and passion for line dance. So since then, I've always watched line dance videos and my passion further increased. So during my primary school years and my secondary school years, I joined the line dance CCA.
My interest in line dancing actually started when I was quite young, when my father brought me to the now defunct Marco Polo Hotel to watch a line dance performance. So I got really intrigued, and what really drew me to this line dance was that the sound, the boisterous sounds of the drums, cymbals, and the lions moving with his twinkling eyes. So from the time onward, I was very drawn towards line dancing.
For some others, it may be by some stroke of luck that they join this CCA.
At first, I didn't know what CCA to join. Then one of my good friends actually saw that I had no CCA, and then he just asked me to come over and watch a few performances for line dance, see how it is. Yeah, I just got interested and we just decided to transfer to this CCA.
Dragon line dance wasn't my first choice in school, so I was having second choice about joining other CCA. But then, however, I changed my mind instead and joined line dance CCA. Great experience in I want to experience other CCA that I'm new to, rather than a CCA that I have experience in.
No matter why they join, it is with no doubt that this CCA has led them to explore their passions and discover new worlds outside their academic studies. The biggest takeaways that this budding youth have had from line dance will see them through a lifetime.
Line dance gives me a motivation and joy to become a better version of myself. Line dancing not only taught me the actual line dance routine itself, as well as they taught me on many important life lessons when I'm doing line dance, such as how to become a better person, how to take in hardships better, and how to not to give up.
It helped me as a person, even though if you see perceptions of line dance being gangsters and all that, we help mature people in a sense where not only do they learn line dance, they learn how to be a human being as well. Learn their own principles, learn respect, manners, and all that.
Admittedly, much synergy is required to empower a troupe to perform at their best. Coordination is required between the percussion, lion head and lion tail to allow for fluidity in movement and elegance in performance.
When we perform or compete, no matter whether it's instrument or lion, I just feel this chemistry, I guess. It's very satisfying. We, without telling each other, we already know what we're gonna do. Then we're so in sync, it's just quite cool.
参加了主要能让学员如何适应团体的生活了，懂得互相帮助、互相扶持了。就拿舞狮来说，舞狮的狮头舞得很好，但缺乏了一位能配合他的思维，也是不能。或者是两者都很好的狮头狮尾配合得很好，但鼓乐的配搭不好，结果还是徒劳。所以说，整组的配合度要很强，凝聚力要很强，才能达到天衣无缝的成效。就是在社团里面的生活所必备的啦，就是学到了合作、合群和那种互相帮忙，因为这个在社团里面所应该要有的咯，不要说来到咱这边只要玩哦，就是当你要表演一个东西的时候，你那种合作精神就会存在了，久而久之会训练到团员跟团员的那种沟通方式比较容易了。
A big mainstay that is an integral component of line dance culture and one that is constantly emphasized upon is camaraderie. Long slots of training and practice cultivate in practitioners a sense of joint struggle, one that galvanizes them and unites them in doing their best. Student practitioners are no exception.
I definitely enjoy bonding with them the most because most of our performances and trainings it's more on teamwork. So throughout all these trainings, I wonder a lot of them spend good time with them. Through the performances, we make mistakes, then we learn from each other, and also sometimes we make fun of each other. So I feel like those are the moments where I enjoyed most during my experience in line dance.
Our CCA has a very good welfare system, and many of our members are quite close with each other. whenever new journalists join our CCA, they shouldn't feel awkward with us. After 2-3 sessions, they would become the same family. They one big family.
为什么会留在这个圈子嘛？因为以前是所说的是跟同学啦或者朋友在一起，现在是因为我执教了这样20-30年了，就是说很多学生都在我的手中教出来，等于他们有自己的发展了，也有说久跟他们见面一次的时候说不完的那种啊，所以我待在这个圈子，他们就可以容易联络上我，而不是我忽然间在这个好像人间蒸发掉不见人这样哦。如果我在这个圈子，他们随时都可以找到我，所以我还是可以看到我以前的学生和他们在一起，还有以前的同学啦、以前的朋友都在一起了，所以比较容易联系啦，在这个圈子里面。离开这个圈子就比较难哦，就好像有些学生他不在这个圈子，所以有时在路上碰到的话，可能他会叫我，我都答不上他是什么时候的学生，或者是在哪里认识的。如果他们还在这个圈子，我还在这个圈子的话，沟通啊什么都比较容易咯，见起面来就很多东西可以讲。在这个圈子你待久了，有些年轻人他们成立了会馆，或者自己在一些别的会馆的话，他们就会来问我们一些关于一些好像传统啊、舞狮啦、舞龙的一些东西，或者一些规则啦，这样以我们的经验可以跟他们分享这些问题咯，也可以吸纳他们现在年轻人所想的东西咯。这样我们可以新旧结合在一起，让这个东西更好发展、更好发扬。
Even outside school troops, where embitterment may have arisen as a result of rivalries, lion dance has served as a warm, amicable force for good, giving strength to people of the community at times they need it the most.
I think the most memorable for me was the Ngee City competition, because I was the line head for the competition for one of the teams, and our team actually fell down really bad. Like I fell down really very bad. Like the whole performance almost stopped, but I guess I just decided to get up, right, and then just try to stunt again. Then when I tried to stunt again, right, the whole community of runners was actually cheering for me. I didn't expect that. Like they were just clapping and just cheering. Then I felt more motivated to just put in my best for the rest of the performance, I guess. Yeah, so that was quite memorable.
We didn't do that well during the competition, so we had some major mistakes. But after the major mistakes, we actually got the biggest cheer from the crowd at the end of the competition, because they were trying to show their support for us. So it was quite memorable and also motivating. We feel because after our failure, then it's like people are telling us not to give up.
I am only a member of the NUS Lion Dance Troupe, but I am aware of other troops out there. I have friends and companions from other troops out there that I'm familiar with, but I am not part of any external troop. Usually you can see members crossing troops and helping each other out. That's how tight-knit the community can be nowadays. I would say it's a different story in the past, where each troop for itself. Nowadays, it can be a collaborative art form.
All this being said, one must take the good with the bad. For some young practitioners, there may be hurdles that must be surmounted to allow them to participate fruitfully in the arts form. However, they prove their choices with their growth, converting the initial disapproval to subsequent support from their loved ones.
At first, when I told them that I wanted to join Dragon Alliance, they didn't really support me, because they also thought that it was gangster CC or something. But then once they saw how I changed as a person, physically and mentally, right, they went to watch one of my competitions, I guess. Then they saw determination, then they see that I changed and they just support me.
they actually disapprove at first, like because they think it will affect my studies. Like I'll be neglecting family time and all that. Then after that, I showed them what I was doing during training, make sure that they are satisfied with what I'm doing, make sure like my grades are up, so they won't have any disapproval at all.
So during when I was young, my dad bought a lot of VCD during that time, all about Takashimaya, their annual competition. So when young, I keep looking at those videos and I got some interest on participating in the lion dance. But unfortunately, my parents don't allow me to participate in lion dance because in the past, my parents were stereotype lion dancer. It will be those gangster people join one, so they don't allow. So when I joined IT College Central, I try my luck lah, just to participate as a CCA instead of like going out for like a external hobby. So but after that, I following my coach to join 松林武术馆 as a hobby lah. Yeah, till now.
Being products of the system itself, it is heartening to see many of the members taking the initiative and being motivated to eradicate any anachronistic stigmas they may arise with respect to lion dance. For many students, this stigmatization of lion dance is somewhat of a personal goal, be it on the basis of gender or an unsavory association.
There's no story and there's no recorded evidence of the very first female lion dancer in history. It's a mystery till now. I've tried to research upon it. I can't find it. But if you were to look back on the history pages of lion dance, you will see all the freeze frames and tableaus and pictures of lion dance troops. You would see that the members are all male. So and when this continues, generation of males after generation of males, traditions get passed down, and these traditions may reflect exclusivity towards females. So I would say it's a long-standing, historical, systemic phenomenon that's occurring. But there's a lot more openness nowadays, towards females.
I'll bring up the younger generation in thinking that lion dance is not associated with gangsters, whereas it's more of whether you're passionate about the sport and are you ready to face like the trainings, the toughness, because throughout this, when you're in the community, anything happens, tragedies, happiness, sadness. So it's really all about how you want to take it, whether you want to take it positively or negatively.
Moving forward, several practitioners have taken it upon themselves to propagate lion dance and to bring it back to its former glory of yesteryear. The pragmatic considerations in society, coupled with other commitments, have led to a decline in participation in the art form.
讲那个东西，你看到现在的学生跟以前我们在会馆有点不一样。现在的学生当然啦，很多东西要玩嘛，不像以前我们只是单一的做工回去就是会馆，我们一个礼拜5天6天在会馆，现在要他们来1天，他们都很辛苦。
For the future of lion dance in Singapore, I would say it's a very difficult road to track. Yeah, it's really very difficult because given the conditions in Singapore, standards of living in Singapore, everybody is so focused on academics, on the careers. Yeah, so they have very little time for their interests. And even if they have time for interest, their passion and their level of commitment would definitely be affected because of the different commitments. It's really a tough road to track because training in Singapore, there are many places where you can train, and the cost of rental is also very high. So it's very difficult to sustain the troop because you have to first maintain a certain amount of funds. You need to have performances, you need to have competitions to sustain their level of commitment and their standards and to improve their standards. And even if you find a place to store your stuff, you might not even have a place for training. So that's a very worrying trend in Singapore. Wherever you train, wherever you go, there are bound to be complaints. Yeah, even if you are in some industrial area, that really hinders training lah. It makes it very difficult for troops to train, to maintain a certain standard. Having said that, people are not very interested in traditions nowadays. When they encounter lion dance troupe, they say that okay, it's very noisy, it's so the sound of the cymbals is so jarring on the ears. But when it comes to Chinese New Year, they want lion dance to go and bless their office, to have good luck. But at the same time, they are so averse to all this noise and everything. There are some of us, in fact many of us, who do not do this for a living. We are in this for the interest, for the passion.
While some practitioners feel that the art form may die out with them, for the most part, lion dancers work hard to carry forth this beloved tradition so that its flame burns brighter. From young to old, dedicated practitioners of the art form have committed their contributions to maintaining and spreading the legacy of lion dance.
The more experienced members are obviously our alumni, so they show their support by coming over, even though they are not part of the school anymore. During our training, they will help us out by teaching the less experienced members. I would try to do the same after I graduated. So when I become an alumni, I'll also try to come back and make some time to show my support to my juniors so they can keep this chain going and show our passion for lion dance.
I'll definitely come back, to check out who are the new batch of students. Make sure they're training well, they're not bullied, all that. Because this lion dance community is one big family. We take care of each other.
As a alumni, we will come back and help our coach to teach and give them more, our experience. To them what should they do, what should they not to do when they're doing the performance, or guide them through the performance. So I come back is more like I saw the passion of them.
With its long history in this land, it is not surprising that there have been many interesting figures that have emerged from this community, and each has a story to tell. It is with no doubt that different people embark on this journey due to different reasons, but one thing is certain. They all fell in love with lion dance and never looked back. From the old guards to the young lions of today, their unbridled passion will continue to shine through, and their traditions will continue to live on, so long as the lions of the Lion City keep on roaring.